Today, Lori's making coconut-crusted snapper with a side of spicy questions for State Representative Steve Crisafulli. It's all right now on Live with Lori.
Hi, and welcome back to Live with Lori. Today we have Representative Steve Crisafulli, and we're making coconut-crusted snapper with a Thai chili garlic sauce. Since the break, I have started the fish, and Steve, if you'll just slide right behind me here, I'll have you start on the rice. You're going to use a cup of water, a cup of coconut milk, and I told you this is real coconut milk. It's not the kind with all the sugar in it that you use for pina coladas. Although if you want to make pina coladas, that is the best kind. And then just a cup of that, not the whole can.
No, we'll do.
And a cup of rice, and then a quarter cup of coconut. While we're cooking this, see if I'm going to ask you a couple more questions.
Okay.
You were on the redistricting committee.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know everybody's really interested in that because of, what's happened with Amendment 5 and 6.
Absolutely. We made a real strong effort to make sure that we run around the state and talk to the different communities to see how they felt they needed to be represented best in Tallahassee. And while doing that, we went to 27 different communities around the state, starting in the Panhandle and finishing down in Key West.
Right.
It gave everybody an opportunity to be a part of the conversation and make sure that while we were doing that, we were also keeping in mind that Amendments 5 and 6, as you mentioned, were being respected. Those were two amendments that were passed during the 2010 election cycle. And, that was an important part of that process, making sure that we were, first of all, implementing the law, which was the new law, and keeping in mind that the people had a voice in this and had an opportunity to talk about who was going to represent them and how. So
with the new I guess they're constitutional amendments.
Yes.
How difficult did that make it redistricting the state?
It's a once every 10-year process, and it was certainly a very tedious process. But we were fortunate to have a computer program that helped in that. And again, basically in a nutshell, 5 and 6 said that we couldn't favor incumbency, we couldn't favor partisanship, we couldn't favor certain things. We really had to keep, city boundaries in place, county boundaries, major roadways and arteries in place. And it was about making more contiguous, compact districts for our state.
Right, and I understand that, but some of the way the new lines have been drawn, I think, really surprised some people because they thought that by voting for those that it was going to be different.
Yes, yes. There was some, advertising that was done on those that made things a little, misleading maybe in the way that they were put out there. But at the end of the day, we had words that meant something in the Constitution, and we knew what we had to do based on court cases and the interpretation of that law, and we knew how we had to follow that.
So how many arguments were there on the House floor?
We had a good debate over it, but like I said, the most important part of that was that the law was being followed, and the courts had the say, and
right.
And once it came back from the courts that they met the letter of the law, then everything was good. So ultimately, we're going to live with these maps for the next 10 years. The next census comes out, we'll do it again.
Right.
But we do have Amendments 5 and 6 to live by now, and that is that's the way that it's going to be done. And I feel good about it. I feel good that moving forward, we did the right thing. We did what was best for the citizenry of the state of Florida, and ultimately, I think they have good representation.
Well, speaking of committees, what are some of the other committees that you're on?
I've been given great opportunity to chair the House Ag and Natural Resources Policy Committee. Agriculture is truly the foundation of Florida's economy, and having that opportunity, having a family history in agriculture, gave me a great opportunity to have knowledge of an issue and actually get to implement that into the process. So I've been given that opportunity. That has a lot to do with water policy issues, as well as agricultural issues in our state, and making sure that we have an industry that thrives.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about this committee. And I'm sure there's people at home are thinking, what is exactly do they do? So how about you tell them exactly some of the issues?
Sure.
I mean, you've mentioned, the water management districts, but what are some of the other things? Because as you said, agriculture is one of the biggest things in the state of Florida. It's one of our biggest money makers.
And water is a regulatory issue in the state of Florida. We got to make sure that the things we're doing are good for that industry. So by doing that, we have issues that come before this committee that may impact the regulatory side of that industry, as well as many other industries under water policy. So we're making sure that we're working to represent the balance of the environment as well as the agricultural community in the state and the water issues from storage and quality issues moving forward into the future of Florida. So it's an important committee as far as I'm concerned in the state. And I look forward to the opportunities moving forward in whatever positions that I may be in the next 2 years.
We're going to come on back. We're going to pop the fish in the oven. We're going to make a Thai chili garlic sauce that will blow your mind. So come on back and join us with State Representative Steve Crisafulli.
When we come back to Live with Lori, things really get moving as Representative Crisafulli discusses the rail system and Port Canaveral.